Okay, so here's the replacement sheet metal that's going on the dually. We got some universal rockers, partial outers, I guess you would call them. And then you got the two inners, and then there's two cab corners. Cab corners are for a crew cab. I believe there are different cab corners for the regular cab and the crew cab. I'm not sure about the extended cab, but those cab corners are for the crew cab. I got all this stuff off eBay, and you're looking at about $350 worth of steel here. A little disappointed with the inner rockers. From the picture, these look like stamped pieces, but when I got them here, it looks like they were made on a CNC machine where a plasma cutter cut these all out, all the holes. Then somebody bent the lip on here, and then someone bead rolled all these deals in there, and I'm not real happy with them. I thought they were a stamped piece. They are two pieces too. I believe they do that so they can ship them easier. I mean, I gotta weld them in anyway, so that I'm not really worried about that. But it's just the quality is not doesn't seem to be there with them. So I don't know how they're gonna fit. That's all I'm worried about, is them fitting. If they're a terrible fit and I gotta spend a whole bunch of time trying to get them to fit, you know, I would have rather paid another $30 for each one and got a real stamped piece. But I won't know until I gotta go in there. And also I'm gonna have to clean up all the edges because their plasma cutter left slag on every edge that they cut. The rockers, the outer rockers are nice. I really like them. I use them on my regular cab. I think they'll be all right. These cab corners, this one here is all right. It looks good. The other side is a different story. And look at this edge. I'm gonna have to cut and form that. Depending on how high I gotta go, maybe I'm hoping I don't have to go very high with these rockers. But I mean, look at that seam. That's terrible. That's not. It's supposed to be flat, like this side. See how that edge is flat, and this edge is rounded, bowed in. Yeah, I don't know what that is. These are Keystone replacement parts, which I thought Keystone parts were pretty good, but this is really junk to me. Hopefully I'm only going to need this part here, so I guess those are the parts I'm going to be using here, and I better start cutting, I guess. Find out what I got. Oh, it's not near as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's not bad at all. I'm not even sure it's rusted out any further. All kinds of water or something. There's grease in here. There's some sort of a grease right there. Somebody sprayed these rockers with oil. Wonder why they didn't spray the back. This might be an easier repair than I was thinking. I don't think it's rusted out past here. Actually, I don't think it's rusted out past here. I think I cut too much off. Okay, so this is what I got after all my cutting here. I had to go this high with the rocker. I tried to go this high on the bottom of the tape line. It was just too rusty. So I had to go above it to get all the rust cut out of that. It was bubbling around this area here. And so it's all good from this point up. Little concerned with this because this looks good on the outside here. It's kind of cruddy looking on the inside. So I'm not really sure what to do about that inner piece there. I did cut a section out of it here that I might replace that. I'm not sure. And then you can see what I cut out here in the rocker. Now I got to there's thicker metal from about here. There's thicker metal up there. It's like double the thickness of the rocker, and I don't know if you can pick that up there, but I mean that there's no rust damage at all. And it looks good going to the front. Now this was all rusty from about here back. I mean, it was pretty bad. It was pretty rusty. I could tell when I was cutting that up there that it was more solid than the rest of it. It also looks like the inner rockers are in good shape too. So, I mean, I thought the bottoms of them were getting rotted, but I mean, they all feel solid. I'm gonna have to cut all the spot welds or drill them out under there because that rocker is so solid. So, I mean, I didn't even need a driver's side rocker, don't look like, and it's 2 pieces. Right there is the seam, so it is 2 pieces. So I think I'm gonna leave the rest of that rocker. There's grease in here. There's grease inside the rockers or some sort of oil. I don't know if it's grease, but there's some sort of oily substance all over the rocker. So I'm guessing this was sprayed with something at one point, which explains why it's actually why it actually lasted this long, I guess. And I guess probably why the front of that is still intact. So I'm done for the night, but tomorrow I guess I'll show you how I drill out them spot welds that the factory makes. To get the rest of this cab corner out of the way, and then I gotta get the rest of this rocker out of the way too. So I guess I'll be back with you tomorrow. Okay, here's a quick look at this rocker that I cut out. The outer rocker. Now these holes here, this is probably what didn't help either, but these holes were from the running boards that they had on it. When I bought it, they had fiberglass running boards, and they drilled holes and screwed into it in several places on the rocker. But you can see the rusty mess. This is the back, and you can see the rusty mess here. This was the hole, and another hole that I could see from the outside. You can see it's still cruddy here. About here is where it's like double the thickness. You can see it goes from like a single to a double the thickness. It's kind of cruddy there, but then you can see more of that oily stuff that was in there. And then you can see where I left off from my cut. I mean, this is just surface rust. I mean, there's no, that's not rust through. It's not even started to rust through yet. So that's why I'm probably just going to go from there. I'm going to leave the rest of that front there. And just take care of this back here for now. Because, I mean, there's no sense in cutting out. No sense in cutting out all that good metal. And you can see there's no rust damage at all. Right there. There are some holes. So I am going to have to weld them up because there's some more holes going towards the front. But that's a look at the rocker. There's the underside of it. You can see there's some paint peelage there. But it's greasy under here. So someone sprayed it with something at one point. Okay, so I'm getting ready to drill out these spot welds. First off, you gotta find them. and they're usually they're little dimples, and you can see where they are. Sometimes you shine the light differently, you can find them. From what I can see, I see two right here. You're gonna take a center punch. You're gonna find the center of them, and you're gonna center punch them. And you're gonna want to make a really good center punch. I may even have to take a drill bit to keep this spot weld cutter on there. Sometimes it likes to wander. Okay, so here is the spot weld cutter. Okay, you can see it's got a pointy thing on it. This is spring loaded. And all this does is keep that on your center punched area, while your cutter right here cuts the spot weld, or cuts around it. And this is actually two-sided, but the one side's completely gone. Dad used that and flipped it around. I've got another one. In case this one wears out on me. I got quite a few spot welds I gotta do. So you're gonna put your spring-loaded deal in the center of the spot weld where you did the center punch. I'm gonna try to drill this out. Helps to have a screwdriver here to pull on it, kind of let you know. You don't want to go too far because you don't want to go into the other panel. And I believe and there we go. One down. We'll get this other one. If it doesn't stay in place, I may have to drill that out. Because if it doesn't stay in place, it won't cut the rivet out, or the spot weld. So there's those two out. And apparently there's another one right here that I gotta take the they got seam sealer over it. I believe it's right there. Then I gotta slice this off a little bit more, and this cab corner will come off. Okay, so this one's decided to be stubborn. So I had to take a little drill bit and drill me a hole there so this thing won't wander. Well, that's what you want to avoid. Okay, that didn't go quite as planned. Here's the piece I was trying to get out. Okay, so this is what you're trying to do right here. You're trying to cut the outside panel and ultimately leave the spot weld on the panel that it was spot welded to. Okay, so I did that with these two spot welds. One there, one there. This is what you're trying to avoid right here. You don't want to go all the way through. I'm going to have to try to weld that back on there. Luckily some of it stayed there, so you should be able to weld that back up. But that's what you're trying to avoid. You don't want to go all the way through all the panels, because then that's just going to cause you a bunch of work. I missed the spot weld by a little bit. That's why it hung on. That's why I kept drilling, because it wouldn't come off. So you got to try to get it right in the center of the spot weld, otherwise you'll have problems like that. This actually looks really solid. I mean, there's some surface rust there, but this inner panel looks good right there. So I'm going to continue on with all the spot welds under here, and hopefully get this rocker ready for the new piece shortly. Okay, so here's the strip that just come out of there. You can see where I drilled out the spot welds. And then you can also see that it's not even close to being rusted out until about right here. So right about here back. This other is just surface rust. I mean, it would take a long time to rust through that metal. So that's what that looks like. And the underside here, that's what this looks like. And you can see that the inner rocker is solid. So I didn't even need an inner rocker. Didn't even need a full outer rocker on this side. But I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. I just got to clean up my spot welds here. I went a little deep with a couple of them. Have to grind them down, then kind of weld up the damage. Also here, I got to weld this one up because I went all the way through that one. Otherwise, it's just got to clean it up here. I'm just going to clean up the scale on here. Might hit it with some rust converter. I'm going to straighten my cut right here so it's straight, and then I'm going to start fitting a new panel on there. I'm going to do it just like I did the 1500. I'm going to take it, I'm going to wrap it around here, spot weld it up here. Should work out okay, but I've got all the cutting of the rust out. I did make this tool here. It's just a long rod, and then I welded a piece of angle iron on the end of it. And what I'm doing here is I'm going into my rocker. And cleaning out that rocker. You can see I got an angle there. So it kind of goes into the crack. And pulls that out. You can see the little pile I got so far. So I'm going to scrape that out and then probably blow it out. I got a real long blow gun that I'll stick in there. I'll pull all the plugs out, blow it out. And then once I get this all sealed up, I'm going to fluid film the rockers. The other side I can't do a partial. I know that. I've already looked at that. And that's got bubbles everywhere. So that'll be a whole rocker. But this side here, looks like I'm going to get away with just this. So I guess I'm probably going to end that here, and then we'll do another video of me fitting the panels and welding them in. So I guess this is the part 2, cutting the rust out, I guess. I'll see you guys in the next one.